What's up, y'all? We're here, and we got Tauros. I actually finished him yesterday, but it was late and I didn't feel like recording, so I refreshed it real quick. There's like what's there. Um, I was too tired to record, so I'm doing them now. This will be a shorter one, and I'm not just saying that. It genuinely will be a shorter one, mostly because it's extremely straightforward, and it's only one Pokemon. So, yeah. Tauros. So, like I said in a couple other videos at this point, I prepared and planned out literally every single Pokemon, and that includes all. Let me actually count. There are not many pure normal types that are. Hold on, let me. Hold on, sorry, y'all. I gotta find them real quick. I know I have it somewhere in one of these chats. There we go. So there is 18 pure normal types, not counting Ditto. So, and I believe Smeargle is actually even counted in there. Let me check. Yeah, Smeargle is actually counted in there. So, literally 18, and Tauros is one of them, and therefore I could not keep abilities like Sheer Force or Intimidate because we already have other pure normal types who have Sheer Force and Intimidate. Intimidate, there is two. Two pure normal types have Intimidate, one of them being Kangaskhan, and the other one you guys will find out eventually. And so, yeah, Tauros lost Intimidate and Sheer Force, so oh my god, why would it lose those abilities? Well, number one, balancing reasons, because I had to give them to other Pokemon who fit much better. And number two, Tauros actually does not mind losing those abilities because of the stat buffs and the new abilities I gave it. And as you can see here, its two new abilities are Reckless and Stamina. Those two fit, honestly, perfectly. I don't think anyone's even going to question them for a second. I mean, Reckless, I don't have to take any time explaining. As for Headstrong, Bouffalant will be having Headstrong because Bouffalant has the giant guard hairs, and so it makes much more sense for Bouffalant to not take recoil damage. Meanwhile, Tauros has a lower attack set than Bouffalant naturally still. I mean, Bouffalant would probably be about 130, 140. But Reckless boosting is actually much stronger. I can quickly show you guys. If I were to put in speed, just for the calculations purpose. Actually, in this case, it doesn't matter, but I just have a habit of doing that now. So 381 is attack, right? Oh. Gosh, there we go. 457 versus, let's say, if I gave him about 135 attack. Not even close, you know, that's much higher. 145. Still, I mean, that's closer, but you guys can see how high that becomes. Damn, that's like almost 160 base attack. Yeah, about 160. A little under 160, 157, 158. So there you go. Yeah, 158 base attack. Even 159, you could argue. So that's excellent. Super strong with Reckless. And it has 100 Reckless boosted moves. But quickly, I want to also talk about stamina. Actually, no. I'll talk about, well, Reckless is very straightforward, so I'll just quickly mention it. Reckless is just you click the button and the button do damage. So with held item buffs, you can actually excuse me. Let me actually rename this to held item changes / buffs. There we go. Regardless, yeah, Shell Bell will almost completely negate the recoil damage you take. Let me triple check. I'm pretty sure Shell Bell heals you. I've checked this before. I'm almost positive that Shell Bell heals you after recoil damage is dealt. Yeah, after it takes damage from recoil or buff skin. So that is great. With the Shell Bell buff, you are essentially healing off almost all of the recoil damage from these moves. So, for example, Double Edge. Recoil moves are in 2 tiers now, or technically 3 tiers. So there is 125 base power recoil moves that deal 25% recoil. And most of these, not all of these, have an additional effect. A very good one at that. And then there are the 110 base power. Listen, this is looping. Yeah, we're good. This music is kind of annoying, but this will be a quick one. It probably won't even loop twice by the time I finish. It's gonna be really quick, because it's very straightforward. There's not like too much depth. I mean, there's a lot of depth actually, but it's Tauros, man. You know, he's bull. So these are 20%. These deal 20% recoil. So therefore, if you're using any of these, well, you don't get Dragon Hammer, but you get these. You get all 4 of these moves. You get Player of Takedown, Rock Climb, and Wild Charge. And with those moves, you are actually. It's really great. You are literally only you are not taking recoil essentially. You're still getting a Reckless boost. And those become extremely powerful. Reckless, like I said, your 124 base attack, which is already really fucking high, becomes even better. Otherwise, stat-wise, more HP because he's a big bull. Slightly less special attack just to min-max, just so he would still be at 525 base stat total. 70 split F is not even bad, honestly, but if you wanted to run like Assault Vest with Stamina, you could totally do that. Although you wouldn't have any healing moves if you did that, so you gotta pick and choose what you do. And then you got 116 speed tier, just because of all the speed tier creep in the hack. Kind of had to, you know, give him a little boost right there. It also fits pretty well. I felt like over 120 was kind of weird, but you know, 116 is a good number for him. That currently outspeeds a good amount of stuff. Obviously, this will keep getting updated as I get more and more Pokemon in the hack, as I keep doing more and more mons. So here you go. Right now, he is above all of these base 115s and 110s and all these great mons. So that's a really good speed tier for Tauros. Again, given how strong and bulky he is as well. And speaking of bulk, well, quickly I'll talk. So Reckless, he has Double Edge, which becomes really powerful, 125 base power, and it has 50% chance to drop defense, so that's great. Otherwise, you have Head Smash, Headlong Rush, and Submission, all of which are 150 base power, and they give you -1 defenses like Close Combat does, and they deal 25% recoil. So extremely powerful, but you know, a pretty high drawback. But it's not even that bad. I mean, if you're one-shotting whatever you're doing, then it doesn't really matter as long as you don't kill yourself with the recoil. So. Play Rough has a 50% chance to drop attack. Takedown has a 30% chance to drop defense. Rock Climb has a 30% chance to flinch, and Wild Charge has a 20% chance to paralyze. So those are all very good additional effects on those moves. The reason I made the recoil moves have such good effects is because I want to really encourage the use of them with or without Shell Bell, because people usually tend to steer away from recoil moves. And same thing I did with all the other strong moves. Like I wanted to make the drawbacks a lot more reasonable. So these moves deal a lot of recoil, but not as much recoil as they used to do, and blah blah blah. Just to encourage the use of it over like the more reliable, weaker moves, you know. Same goes for like the inaccurate moves, you know, the accuracy is buffed, whatever. But yeah, you got rock coverage with Head Smash and Rock Climb. You got fighting coverage with Takedown and Submission. You have ground coverage with Headlong Rush, and then you have fairy coverage and electric coverage with Play Rough and Wild Charge, all Reckless boosted, and then you have Stab with Double Edge, and those are all excellent. And that's it for Reckless. It's very straightforward. Reckless will not be too useful until level. Well, actually, you will get TMs for Play Rough, Wild Charge, and Rock Climb, and Takedown, all 4 of them. You would probably be around the early mid 40s, late 40s at the latest. But it'll definitely be before you get Double Edge. So Reckless will be useful from then, and then you'll get Double Edge, which is useful, and then you'll get these ones in the late game. So that's great. That being said, you have other really, really powerful coverage. I promise I'll talk about stamina. Also, if you're wondering about the logic of stamina, I mean, he's literally a ride Pokemon. He literally runs. I'm pretty sure one of the decks literally just says word for word. They have, yeah, here you go. Ratty Pokemon with a lot of stamina. So there you go. If you guys didn't think it fits, but I don't think anybody was questioning that for a second. And that is just amazing. So essentially what that does is it gives you, I'm sure you guys probably know, but it gives you +1 defense each time you get hit by any move, not even just physical moves, but literally any attack, you'll get +1 defense. So that's really powerful. You have other great, I'm going to talk about stamina in a second. I just want to cover the other coverage moves. So you have dark coverage with Pursuit, Punishment, Payback, Power Trip, which is great, and I'll get into that in a second with stamina, and also Swords Dance and Bulk Up. That is amazing combinations, but I will talk about that later. Knockoff, Hell Thrust, those are your dark coverage moves. You have a lot of fighting with Skirmish, Reversal, Takedown, Close Combat, and Superpower and Submission. And then you have Steel coverage with Iron Head and Iron Tail and Smart Strike. And then you have Bug coverage with U-Turn, First Impression, Lunge, and Mega Horn. Ground coverage with Earthquake. High Horsepower is actually much earlier than Earthquake, and is 95 base power. So that is excellent. No drawbacks, no accuracy drop, and you actually have a 30% chance to flinch as well, so that's really, really good over Earthquake. 5% 5 base power decrease, but a lot of advantages for sure, and also it's just earlier, so yeah, that's great. You also have Bulldozer's Stomping Tantrum, you got Rock Tomb, Rock Slide, Head Smash, Stone Edge, Rock Climb, Send Headbutt for psychic coverage, Fire with Blaze Kick, Power Whip because of his tail. It's a little bit of a reach, but I think it's kind of cool because I know his tails are based on bull whips, and like his tails are supposed to whip himself or something weird like that. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool, so I just gave it to him for good coverage. Mega Horn obviously is very self-explanatory. Megaton Kick is an upgrade over Earthquake. Technically, it's 90% accurate, 120 base power, 30% chance to flinch. That's really powerful. Actually, I believe it's 30% chance to drop defense. Maybe it's flinch actually. Yeah, it's flinch. Yeah, I was right. So. Power Whip, same thing, but grass type and defense drop chance instead. Mega Horn's even more powerful, 85% accurate, 130 base power. You guys get it, all right? Tons of really great coverage moves. And then your powerful stab moves, you have, like I said, you have Double Edge, obviously. Otherwise, you have Body Slam, which is 90 base power, 30% chance to drop, 30% English. 30% chance to paralyze. Whiplash, again, because of the whip tails, I thought it was kind of cool. That's 85 base power, and it always drops defense. So it's weaker on the first hit, but on the second hit, you're actually getting more damage than Body Slam and Retaliate. And on the third hit, you're doing more damage than Double Edge, technically, I think. No, you're not actually, because -2 defense. -1 defense is a 1/3 drop. -2 defense is a 1/2 drop. -3 defense is a 2/3. No, -3 defense is a 60% drop. And then -4 defense is a 2/3 drop. So it's actually not as high as you might think. -1 defense moves, they're not as strong as you might initially think. They're still very good, though. So let's do 85 times 1.3. The second Whiplash will be 110 base power, which is very good. And then the third one will be, sorry, the second one will be 127, 130 base power. And obviously, you can also use other moves after Whiplash, so that's really good. Like I said, you have Body Slam. Retaliate is 95 base power, but it doubles in power when something just fainted, becoming 190 base power, which is fucking insane. And that is essentially your return substitute if you just want a flat move that technically can be even stronger if something just fainted. Otherwise, it's very similar power to return used to be. So that's great. Skull Bash, so Flail is great situationally. You can use like Flail and Stamina sets with like Power Trip. Like Flail, Power Trip, Stamina, Slack Off sets would be really cool actually. Raging Fury as well to boost your attack up. You get to low HP, use Reversal and Flail. With Stamina, get the boost. It's really, really strong and cool. So that's really useful. Also, from a gameplay point of view, Stamina kind of makes up for losing Intimidate as well as the giant HP buff. And then also the giant speed, well, not giant speed boost, but a significant speed boost and a high attack boost, a very significant attack boost, much more than makes up for sheer force loss, because a 30% boost on 100 base attack is not even close to as strong as a 20% boost on 124 base attack. Obviously, sheer force boosts more moves, but you actually don't lose the additional effect with Reckless, which is another good advantage, because a lot of the recoil moves have really good additional effects, so losing those can be kind of a shame. But yeah, that's really cool stuff. Also, yeah, you also I didn't mention you have Poison Jab and Gunk Shot for poison coverage as well. I believe it's all the coverage types that yeah, that's about all of them. And then, like I said, Fire with Raging Fury and Blaze Kick, so really good stuff there. Otherwise, you have really good utility with Stamina, Leer, Scary Face, Slack Off, Skirmish, all these like Stat Drop, Battle Cry, Counter, you know, Substitute. Oh my gosh, there's a giant fly flying around. Get out of here, man. Yeah, that's about it for the utility. I'll talk about Stamina specifically in a second, because again, 90, 95, 70 bulk with like Stamina is really, really great, especially because you have Slack Off for healing, so you can literally just rack up boosts. You're pretty fast too, so you can just heal up, let them hit you, heal up, let them hit you, heal up, let them hit you. You can do that 5 times in a row and get +5 defense. Boom, there you go. Then you can use Power Trip, and your Power Trip is 100 and whatever base power. I'm too lazy to do the math in my head. Actually, I'll do it real quick. +5 would be, yeah, you'd be 120 base power on the first use, and then you have only 3 uses of Power Trip. I have talked about this at length in tons of other change guide, but I'll quickly talk about it now. 3 PP +1 attack each time you use it. That way you cannot sweep guaranteed with it. You can't 6-0 an entire team by just clicking Power Trip brainlessly 6 times in a row, but the attack boosting effect is more than worth the 3 PP. It's really, really powerful and really, really good. Otherwise, you have Swords Dance and Bulk Up, both of which pair really nicely with Stamina, especially Bulk Up. You can also run special defense sets with Stamina, so you can run, for example, like Attack and Spadef, and not even Run Speed if you don't need it for that battle. Of course, you can always just slap a Choice Band on your Tauros or a Life Orb and just click the recoil moves and go to town, or a Shell Bow for the recoil. Tons of great stuff Tauros can use. It also has quick attack for priority. Despite having a 116 base speed stat, it might want more speed, which is nice to have. Also, First Impression technically is also priority, although that's only one-time use. But it's always nice to have that as a TM option, just to teach in and on off. So, oh crap. Bug type, Psychic type, whatever, in front of me, I'm just going to click Choice Band First Impression and, you know, teach my Tauros First Impression for that fight or whatever. So that's always useful to have as an option. Rage, oh, I didn't talk about Rage. Rage is great with Stamina. So I'll talk about Stamina options and also just in general. So you have Skull Bash, which gives you +1 defense on the charge turn, and then On the second turn, when you actually attack, it's 130 base power, but you get +1 accuracy and +1 attack. +1 accuracy is useful for Megaton Kick, Power Whip, Mega Horn, and Stone Edge. Of course, those three are very those three really appreciate the +1 accuracy, as do the lower accuracy moves that aren't actually that low accuracy, like Iron Tails and Headbutt, Health Thrust, Gunk Shot. All of these moves have a chance to miss about a 15. So Power Whip has a 50% chance to miss, and then the rest of them all have 10 to 5% chances that I listed. So Stone Edge is 10% chance to miss, Megaton Kick 10% chance, Power Whip 10% chance, Health Thrust 5% chance, Gunk Shot 10% chance, blah blah blah, and they're all varying in base power and effects, and obviously they're all good options to have, and you can always just reteach them. That's great with the accuracy boost from Skull Bash, and of course the attack boost and defense boost are invaluable. And what you can do is you can run a Skull Bash set with stamina and just rack up defense boost over and over and over again. And then you can use Power Trip, because you're getting +3 stat boosts with one use. So you're essentially getting a coil boost with your use of Skull Bash. You can then use Power Trip and instantly get high base power Power Trip, especially if you also get hit by stamina. So say you use Skull Bash in one turn with Power Herb, and then you get hit by a physical hit by any attack that turn, you are now at +2 defense, +1 accuracy, +1 attack. Then you can click Power Trip, and you are hitting for 100 base power, and you're getting another +1 attack after that. So that's really great stuff and super powerful, super useful. That's why it's so late level, because Power Trip is excellent on Tauros with stamina, and of course with all of these other options. Otherwise, you have stamina moves. You have Raging Fury, which will give you +1 attack. It's essentially fire type power up punch, but hold on. And I gave this to him because he's a fucking bull, you know, the whole Raging Bull thing. I think it fits. I considered Flare Blitz for a second by level up, but I felt like it was kind of weird. But I can always throw it in there if you guys really think that Flare Blitz by level up isn't that weird. If it was by team, I think it'd be cool. The reason I gave it to Eradicate and stuff is because he already got Flame Wheel and shit diag move, so I figured it was cool. He has Blaze Kick for coverage, but obviously Flare Blitz with the regular Reckless boost would be very powerful. Well, I have to fix this. This is finishing below now, I just noticed. There we go. So yeah, super powerful stuff. This is 50 base power, but it actually doubles in power if they get hit first. So you can use that in conjunction with stamina and get +1 attack, +1 defense, 100 base power, fire type move. Very powerful stuff. Obviously, you're pretty fast, so going second might be kind of hard, but you can always just do that on purpose in a lot of different ways. So that's very useful stuff there. I said Slack Off is very great for healing and for stamina. You can always do Endure sets with Flail and Reversal and stamina. That's really, really useful. I think that's really about it. I mean, you have Tarting Shot with stamina is pretty useful for like a pivot. Rage, yeah, Rage is huge. That's the biggest one. Also, Payback is nice because that one actually is minus priority, so it's negative priority and it turns into 120 base power move. So yeah, you're moving last, but you're guaranteeing a stamina boost before. Actually, it doesn't really matter that much, but it's essentially just a high base power dark move that is learned pretty early. It's 20 base power stronger than Health Thrust, but you have to move last. So it's, you know, you pick and choose whenever you weigh your options. You are bulky, so moving last is not a big deal, but you know, you're only going to be using that if you can afford to move last that turn. Otherwise, last thing I want to cover is Rage. Rage is excellent with stamina, one of the best combinations. So Rage with, like, for example, Slack Off is amazing because Rage gives you so it's 80 base power. So that's already like a very solid power stat. It was 10 base power weaker than Body Slam and 15 base power weaker than Retaliate, and 5 base power stronger than Headbutt. Only it doesn't have a flinch rate. Instead, you get a +1 attack each time you get hit. So as long as you're clicking Rage, stamina will give you +1 defense, and Rage will give you +1 attack. So you're getting a bulk up boost as long as you get hit that turn, and you're clicking Rage, you're getting a bulk up boost each turn. Rack that up with Power Trip, and you're sweeping pretty fucking easily, man. It's great. Great stuff. Really fucking fun to use. Very straightforward, very solid, very good mon. Very basic, but it's good. It's very, and also Tauros is cool. I have nothing against Tauros. It's a pretty simple design, but I like him. You know, I like the horns. I like the weird gems on his forehead, gem-looking markings. The triple tail is cool. I like bulls. I like Ungamons. Tauros is chill. So yeah, now Tauros can be really good. It's much better than it was before, despite losing Sheer Force and despite losing Intimidate. It is actually much better with these two abilities, including factoring in a stat boost and a move pool buffs I gave it. And this sets it apart from the other pure normal types because the other ones they'll be able to do similar things, but none of them will have stamina, that's for sure. So Tauros is totally unique in having stamina and unique in having reckless. The only overlap would be Bouffalant with headstrong, which is similar but not the same thing, obviously. And obviously Bouffalant will be bulkier, much bulkier, but much slower. Not much slower, but pretty significantly slower. It'll be in the mid 80s or 90s. Tauros is at 116. So yeah, great stuff. Tauros is super great. Hope you guys like this one. Hope you guys appreciate the shorter video. It's not because I don't care about it. It's just because there isn't really that much to talk about or cover. It's Tauros. All of his stuff I literally covered everything. Like, there's nothing I missed. I literally touched on every single level of move, besides like Stomp, which is just worse, the headbutt. So, and Focus Energy, which is like a niche. Otherwise I covered everything. It's just a very self-explanatory mon. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back later with Gyarados, hopefully, and that will be a longer one for sure.